This
Let me start
conference
the
will now be recorded.
okay. So before we move on to the class, let me quickly show you what I have uploaded so far into the my free course content. So if you wish to go there, you can see the content from there itself. So far I have added more than 13 hours of content, and still I haven't started with object oriented concept yet. So that is one thing for sure, that this course would be of the greater detail and in depth. So I'll be adding maybe 100 hours of videos over here. So it would be beneficial for those guys who would like to enroll for this course. So far I have added the for the beginners, like first Java program, then JDK, JRE, different packages. Then after that, in lesson third, the data types, how we debug any program using Eclipse, their different IDE perspectives, how stack frame works, everything is there with lesson 3. In lesson 4, I have added path and class path related things, which we will be discussing in today's class. This is again a very important topic, and a lot of time for beginners, at least for the college passed out or whoever have the couple of years of experience, frequently asked question into the interview. So I'll be covering this lesson 4 related stuff today with respect to the today's class. And other than that, I in one of my lesson I have mentioned the Eclipse short trick, that how in a short way you can write your program and what are the shortcuts available, so that which can help you on greater detail. And then lesson 6, I have mentioned about the export and import process of jar. What is jar and how to export it, import it, and there are 4 to 5 different techniques I have explained in this lesson itself. And then thereafter, in lesson 7, variables and data types and identifier, assignment operators, and those things are discussed in this lesson. And lesson 8 tells about the literals for primitive types and strings. So here also, you can go and watch these videos, and not only we have the video, you can see the theoretical notes as well. So there's a unique combination I try to make over here, that we have the video, and along with that, say for an example, you are done with the video and you would like to see the quick notes for your brush up or reference purpose, you can go there and directly brush up your things, whatever you learned. Then lesson 9 and 10th are again very important lessons for the beginners. The type conversion and type casting, frequently asked question in the not only in the interview, but one must know about these two things. And different Java editions are also covered in lesson 10. And lesson 11, basic operators. And then lesson 5 12 onwards, I have the flow control, sequential and conditional flow. Lesson 13, I have explained the conditional flow, along with that the switch case and default statement, ternary operator related things, then while and do while related things. And then I have an extensive exercise lesson 15 for you guys, so you can go there and do some exercise stuff that will cover whatever we have covered till from lesson 1 to lesson 14. And in lesson 16 and 17 is again very important one, the for loop and nested for loop related explanation is here. So during the college time also, a lot of time the people ask about the, different kind of patterns and those related questions. So one must know about the nested for loop related stuff as well when you started learning. So even 1 hour dedicated class for the nested for loop itself I have covered along with the lesson 17. So again, this is for good for the beginners to go through with this particular class. And lesson 18 is related to the scanner related stuff. How can the scanner API can be beneficial for us, and can help us to make a lot of program dynamically, and we can take an input from the keyboard and do a lot of stuff dynamically. So all these lessons are covered so far, and I'll be keep on updating a lot of more lessons in coming days. So just a glance for you in case you would like to spend more time on learning than the online classes itself. Now coming to the today's agenda item, which we initially planned related to the, I'll start with that straight away. So first thing first, so we'll start with the path and class path related concept. Again, very frequently asked question in an interview, and one must know about this. So let's discuss this particular thing. What is path and class path? So let me go to the command prompt and show you a few things before I. Okay, I'm on my command prompt. So if I want to see my all system variables, then one command is really helpful for us, which is set command. So this set command is useful to display all the variables to us. So if I enter, you can see whatever the variables I have set, environmental variable I have set along with my system, we can see all those variables here, and they would get displayed to us. Now coming to the path and class path related explanation. So before explaining to that, let me create one quick program, and then I'll be explaining what is path and what is class path. So instead of going to the IDE, let me create one program. Okay, let me, so let's say I create one program class, let's say Harshit. Okay, and main method I'm taking here. And I have already covered this single program in my last online session. So you must be aware about the what is the simplest program in the Java. So I just created one program. I write hello Harshit. Okay, and I'm going to save this program. So Harshit.java. Let me do it. And let me go to the location as well. So here is the location, and let me remove the other program. I'm not interested in that. So whenever we write such program, and let me open the command prompt now. I would like to run the program from here. So I come here, and I would like to compile the Java program. So I already explained you that the Java C Java compiler is responsible to compile any program, right? I just do C and Harshit Java here. Now, if right, so see one here. So file, let's postmortem this file that dot class has been created. Why in general given the Java command over here, and then followed by the Java class name itself. So two important concept comes into the picture to compile and run any program from the command prompt or outside of any IDE. So first one is path. Does anyone has any idea about the path? What is path in Java? Anybody has gone through it earlier? What is the meaning of path? Okay, no worries. Let me explain this. So before this, okay, let me draw one quick diagram, and then we'll try to understand few more things there. So let's say we have created our program here, and this program was this Arshit.java was our program, right? And what we are trying to do right now is we just have typed something like this: Java C and Harshit.java. Now through command prompt, how come my operating system know that where is this Java C located, Java compiler is located? And before going to that, let's imagine we have two friends available here. First one is we already seen in the last class that we have Java C, and this is compiler. Right? This is our compiler, and let's say this is our Java command. This is our interpreter, right? So let's say this was our command prompt where we have hit this command, and we are right now into this location. Let me copy and paste the location as well. Okay, one second. Okay, so this is our location of the program, right? And our compiler resides on the different place. So let me copy and paste that location as well. We have seen in the last time that inside bin our compiler resides Java C and Java. This is our Java, and along with that Java C exe file also reside over there. So this is the location of Java C. Let me copy the location of Java C as well. So now think from the perspective of the operating system, we are working into this area, Java C, Harshit.java, which is located into the E colon online classes. And my Java C located somewhere else, and the location is that, right? A different place. So how come my operating system know that it will be executing or it will be taking help from Java C where it is located? So for that purpose, the path variable comes into the picture. Let me draw one more box over here. One second. This is our environmental variable related box, and environmental variable related box, we set the path variable as well. So whenever for our operating system or the command prompt, everything, whatever command we execute is an exe file itself. So what it does, its primary objective is like that it search into the current directory that whether Java C is available or not into the e slash online class folder itself. If that is not available, what it will do, it will go to our environment path. This is called, let me write the environment variable, and here it will try to see whether a developer has set the path or not. How come I know that okay, this Java C is available where? So what it will be doing, that it will straight away first look into the e colon online class, and if it does not find that particular command there, then it will go to the environmental variable things, and it will be search out the path variable. and then it will see that whether the Java and other things have been set or not, that Java C. So what it will find under the path, what we do, we set the Java path right there. So what we write like this, C colon, and then entire, let me show you the environment variable itself. Okay, so let me open the control panel, and this is our environment variable. Now here we define all the paths. So it will come here and it will search out for the all these directory one by one by one. It will go through these directories. Now there are two parts exist over here, user variable and system variable. I'll come to this part later on after some time. So you can see the path variable is set here as well. So if I double click it, let me show you. Okay, here you can see C colon program files Java JDK 1.8 and bin location, right? So by using this location, it will search out for the Java C and will compile your program. So what is the responsibility of the path variable? The first responsibility of the path variable, or why we set the path variable, whenever we execute any program in any directory and try to run that, then our program first search out for the compiler, and if the compiler does not available into the current directory, then it will go to the environment variable, and under the environment variable it will scan all the variables there, and it will look here that okay, path variable is set by the developer, and it will look one by one. So what it will be doing, it will search out into this bin directory, Java bin directory, and it will find there, okay, Java C I have found. If it will not find that particular path, then it will start complaining that I can prove that point to you. How can I prove? Let me close this up for now, and let me again come to the command prompt one more time, and the program I have compiled. So let me delete this dot class file just to avoid any confusion to you. So whenever I say that what is the path variable I have set, we hit the set command, and it will show us all the path variable and other variables available. Whatever the environment variable we have set along with our program, oh, everything would get available. Let me change the path related stuff, the path of the Java program here, and then we will see what happens. So what I'll do, I'll try to write set path and equal to empty. I don't do anything. Then in this case, what will happen? I'm into this command prompt session, and for this session, it has disconnected with the environment variable path related stuff. Because why? Because I have overridden the path values here. And now what I'm saying, don't set any path for me. Now let me recompile the program. Java C Harshit.java, and see what happens. One second, let me change one thing. I forgot one thing. Sorry. It's again showing me the entire path. Let me change the path related stuff here only. So what I'll do, see here, I changed the path to some other directory, C directory. So what it is doing right now? So earlier the path was set to the environment variable and it was going over there and searching out for the Java related directory there only. Now what I have done for this current session only, I set the path to the C directory. Now inside the immediate C directory, it is not searching out anything, right? We do not have Java C available directly into the C directory. In this C directory, you will not find the Java C command available here. So what it is complaining now, Java C is not recognized as an internal or external command, correct? Why? Because it is not getting that, and that particular thing is set for this session only. If I close this command prompt and reopen the command prompt, then again my program or the compilation process will get start again. Why? Because the path variable, which just to showcase you, I have made changes right now which that would be applicable for this particular session only. So if I close this command prompt, then session get ends. So if I close it and let's say I reopen the command prompt by going there, online learning, and I reopen it. If I see the, if I hit the set command, then you can see every path is available here, right? So again, if I try to compile this program, then it will be easily compiled for us, right? Without any problem. So far, so good. Anybody has any queries related to the path variable? Why we set the path variable? What is the, I mean, use case of path variable in our cases? Anybody has any questions? I can, I mean, help you out right now. Okay, I consider silence means everybody is understanding what I try to explain.
Yes, Kanaya, we are good.
Okay, all right, thanks. So now let's talk about the other concept related to the Java C itself. Okay, one more thing you might have noticed. I'll cover a few more other things which you will never see along with, I mean, anywhere in any other video as well. So, so far, what you have noticed that whenever I am creating, okay, let me run the program, then I'll come to that concept later on. So to run the program, what we hit the Java and followed by the dot class related file name, and we remove the dot class from here. Now I hit the enter button, and it will show us hello Harshit along with this program. That means our program is working fine. Now question arise that what is the meaning of class path? We are clear about related to the class, but what is class path? So path, what it says, go to environment variable, and under environment variable, search out for the Java C and Java, right? So the path is itself very simple meaning. Search out for the path, whatever command you are typing. We were typing there Java C. So our operating system will try to find out where this Java C exists. So its current responsibility is what we discussed so far into the immediate directory, and after that it will go to the other the environment variable and search, go to the path location, and one by one each path it will evaluate, and wherever it will find the Java C, it will end its I mean searching path later on. So it will, as soon as it will start executing that program and other things. Now one more important things which many times many people does not know, that is related to the class path. What is the class path, and why, what is the need of this class path? So the class path itself suggests, I mean, the answer hidden inside the name itself. search for the class, right? Or path for the class, whatever, right? So now our program, whenever we will hit the second command, Java and Harshit here, along with this command, two things is going to happen. Let me write here. That thing one more time. Java followed by. So what is first thing? First thing first. This one. One second. Let's discuss the Java. So along with Java, what will happen? Our program will search for Java command itself. That means it will be taking a help of path variable, right? And secondly, we have generated the dot class file. Our dot class file is, in our case, Harshit dot class file. So whenever we hit this command Java Harshit, then what it will be doing? It will be searching into the current directory, the dot class. Dot class file will be searched, right? Where? In current directory first, right? And if it finds into the current directory, then it will end its search. Otherwise, it will go to the other location, environment variable, and somewhere else to find that up. So in our case, if you will carefully look into the program, I have my dot class file and Java file into the same location, and my command prompt is also prompting to the same location, e:online class. So if I run it, it is not complaining me anything, and it without any issues. First command Java is has already resolved the path related stuff, and this Harshit, the dot class file, is also available into the immediate directory or the current directory. So this program is running without any issue. Now let me do one thing. Let me cut it from here and paste it somewhere else. Let's say I paste this one here, Harshit, and I come back to the online class. So you can see the dot class file is not available now. Let me try to run my program one more time. Now what has happened? First thing, it has found the Java. That is okay. How did it found the Java? Because we already have the path variable set there. So from the path variable, it has resolved that Java command or java.exe is available. But now it could not load the Harshit. Why it could not load the Harshit? What it has done, it quickly jumped over here in this online class into the current directory, and it did not find the dot class file, and then it searched out the environment variable and other things as well. And lastly it says, okay, I could not load the main class because I did not find it anywhere. That means our class path is not set. We need to set our class path wherever we have saved our class. I mean, our wherever we have set our class, on that location itself we have to set our class. Then only it will be able to search out about our class path, or it will be able to search about our class related things. So if I say for an example, I would like to run this program anyhow, then what I'll have to do, I need to I need to come here and see that, okay, and inside my D directory the Harshit dot class is set. So one thing I can do, I can write set class path and paste it here. So now I'm specifically telling my program that, okay, Java you will find from the path directory. Go to the environment variable and you will find it. And for the Harshit dot class file, go here, class path. My stylus is not working today. My battery has drained out. So sorry, I would not be drawing anything today. But just try to understand and be with me. So what will happen? The class path I have already said. So it what it will be doing, I have already cut and paste my file, I mean the dot class file there. So it will go there and consult from there and will execute this program. So far so good. Did you understand the high level difference between what is path and class path, guys? This is really important question, and for the beginners, even for the 2 3 years experienced people, it is frequently asked question in the interview. I generally ask such type of questions, and most of the time, even the experienced people does not have an answer of this easy interview question. So if you guys have any doubt, do let me know. I can resolve it right now before moving on into the same concept. All good? Any issues? Chetan, Harshit, Anil, anyone?
No issue, Kanaya. It's good.
Okay, all right. Let's move on. Feel free to stop me if you guys think that you did not get the concept well, right? Then only I'll come to know that you guys are having a problem to understand. So what I have done so far, that with respect to our class path, I cut and paste the dot class file somewhere else, and I was successfully executed the program by just setting the class path. Now, normally one more question arises. Sometimes people ask, and that okay, I don't want to generate my dot class file here itself. I want to specify some path, and that part only my old dot class file should go. Then how to do that? How to achieve that particular thing? So for that also there is one provision. We can do one thing here. What you need to do to achieve that, you have to recompile your program. So I'll go with javac command one more time, and you need to hit the -d command, right? Then dot dot and slash, and let's say I want to save somewhere else in the directory here. Let's say I want to save it in other directory, right? So I'll have to provide the path of other directory. So I hit the dot dot, I mean one directory above, and there other directory exists, right? So just above the current directory online class, and there go to this online dir, and then one more time compile this program. Then we will see whether or not this dot class file comes or not into this other directory. See here, the other directory shows the Harshit dot class files to us, right? Why? Because we can explicitly set our dot class file also here, so that wherever, whatever the location we wish that okay, so everything should go to the here, and in this command prompt itself, I will later on set the class path equal to e colon slash other directory. So it the class path would be set, and whatever program I run, that should be easily run to me. And the same thing is done by the IDE also. If you have observed into the Eclipse and other things, they never save their any program into the same directory, right? If I show you our first program, this program we have written earlier. If I show you the properties or the path of this program, let's say it exists here. So let's go there. See here, here is dot hello dot java file, but the dot class file is not being maintained here. So how the it IDE is doing? It is behind the scene and doing same thing. And you can see where your dot class file is being gone right now in the IDE. What you can do? Let me close all other program to just avoid any confusion. And this is our program, right? So go to the project path and hit the right click button. Go to the properties section, and here you come to the Java build path and come to the sources. You can refer this video later on if you forget it. Just what I have done, I have done the properties, right click, go to the properties, and shortcut for this is Alt Enter. Alt Enter will also do the same thing. If I come here and press Alt Enter, it will again show the same thing, right? And come to the Java build path. Come here at the source location, and where it is all my dot class files are going, see here default output folder. If you can see, let me draw a diagram. Yes, this location I'm talking about, everything will go here. Every dot class file will go here. I can prove it. I can show you this right now. So let's go to this location bin and see if the dot class file is generated or not. So inside this bin, the online folder will be maintained, and see here hello dot class file is being done. So now again the question arises, how come this IDE, outside of IDE we are setting up everything manually? How come this IDE, when we run in any program, that is okay, say for an example I run this program from the here run command, right, Java. So let's try to grab the concept here also, that okay, that is okay, this program is let me understand now how execution is working. So for Java it might be internally, when it hit the Java for the compilation purpose or run purpose, it will go to the environment variable and path related stuff. It will go there environment variable path, and from the path location it picks the Java or Java C related command and compile our program fine. But how come it set the class path for us? We have not set any class path for our IDE. And how come these things are working? While outside of IDE, we are explicitly either into the same directory it is working, or if I cut and paste somewhere else, then I have to provide the location inside the command prompt itself, then only it was working. And we have already seen that along with our source code, the dot class file is not generated in Java. I can show you one more time. In dot class file itself, see here dot class dot Java file along with dot Java file, dot class file does not exist over here. So how come the dot class path related stuff is being maintained? So uh, IDEs are super intelligent. It works everything behind the scene. What it does now, if you will try to see the project one more time carefully, you will see one hidden file here as well inside our workspace. Let me show you that. Can you see this dot class path file? Here it maintains everything internally, and by referring this internal the hidden file, it maintain the dot class path location. Okay, that my path is exist into the bin directory. Go there and consult with that with respect to the class file, and then only it executes. So now onwards, you must be aware that how path and class path related stuff works. This is really important question with respect to the interview, and we must know inside an IDE and outside of IDE how things executes actually, how things works actually. And class path is really tricky. Most of the time people know about the path but does not know much thing about the class path. They know that okay, somewhere into the environment variable we set the Java C and Java, and from there the path is being referred. But when somebody asks them the class path related question, they get blank, because if somebody keep trying to ask them how it will refer, and they get confused that okay, we set the dot class file into the environment variable itself. We can set it by taking a class path variable name itself, that for there, that also works. But there are other ways as well. You must know that how class path concept works. Now let's go little more deeper into the class path related concept itself. One more level of I mean in-depth learning for the class path itself. So let me write one thing. So say for an example, we have written Java and Harshit, right, to run my program. Now when I say class path, there are three type of classes exist in Java, which comes into the picture when we run any program. I'm writing one by one all type of classes. First one is bootstrap classes. Second one is extension classes. I'll discuss these things along with the JVM architecture and class loading concept and other things later on. And user classes. So these bootstrap classes, we say library provided classes. Java. So user classes, if I replace all these things from our immediate program, then I can write something like this. Harshit dot class or dot Java file is my user classes. I mean, any developer who create their custom classes, those all fall into this third category, user related classes. But when we run any program, even for the Harshit.java program, there are other library related classes comes into the picture. Say for an example, I did not explain you everything, but say system is a class in Java itself. It must be coming from somewhere, and from where it is coming, this is coming from this place, bootstrap classes. Or one big file is there, rt.jar. All the Java library, core Java library comes from here only. I can write all core Java, all core Java libraries are coming from here only. And it can easily, and where rt.jar is located, let's have a look at the rt.jar file. Then I'll come to the class path related concept one more time. So keep following me very carefully. And if you have any doubt, feel free to stop me, right? These are important beginners concept. So it must be exist inside the Java directory itself, Java, then JDK. Everything exists in JRE and lib. And you will see one big jar available here, rt.jar. See its size 62104, approx 62 MB is available here. So this rt.jar, whatever the packages or whatever things the Java is providing to us, you have heard for the core Java, everything exists into this jar, this bigger zip file itself. So one thing is for sure, now coming back to the that particular three classes diagram itself, an extension. Okay, we have looked into that part, that okay, every core Java library is coming from here only, rt.jar file itself. Now look into the extension classes related part, guys. Okay, let me show you the extension path also, so that you can understand that as well, where it is, where it does exist. So let me go to the JRE lib one more time and show you the ext. Okay, yeah, JRE lib, and let us scroll down. See here, this is ext. So here also a lot of jars exist. These are all ext related things or extension related things. I will come to this later on when I'll explaining you the class loading concepts or JVM architecture and other things, how class are loaded in future videos. But keep in mind, be with me for me, that okay, there are three type of libraries, classes exist, comes into the picture when it comes to the any Java program execution part. So this extension is like we have already seen inside JRE, this exists, or inside ext folder. So one more important concept here comes, that okay, when I compile Harshit.java file, it was exist into the Harshit.class. We have earlier we had the current directory, right? And in current directory we find it easily. It did not ask anything. But when I copy and paste somewhere else, then what I have done, set the class path. So it has easily find out the Harshit.class file. Let's say I have done it into the my D directory, right? Let's say D directory I have done it and I set the class path there. D directory, and I set the set into the class path. Now when I'm saying the other classes are also there, then how come this rt.jar file is being referred? Inside the rt.jar file, let's say for an example, in our example place, system class exists there. I did not set any path for rt.jar file and anything, but still my program is working. Why my program is working? So now come to that part. Whenever we hit Java along with Java and say Harshit here, so what it will be doing when with respect to the class path related part, it will resolve from the class path the our user classes Harshit.class file will be resolved using our own set class path. But our JVM system is pretty much intelligent. Whenever we write Java, this is actually a JVM or execution engine for us. It and Java's structure is well defined. Everything is there. It is not like any custom developer or the users, like we are creating anything and putting up the things somewhere here and there. Java structure is pretty much well defined. Everything is placed on a proper place itself. So internally, JVM will itself will resolve the bootstrap classes related responsibility, or internally it knows that rt.jar file exists inside the JRE lib directory itself, and it will be resolved from there. It has some internal class path available, and from there it come to know that okay, this particular rt.jar file is exist there, and I can pick the system class from there, and I can easily execute. So as far as developers are concerned, we need not explicitly need to set the rt.jar file related class path. We only are concerned to set the class path of our own custom library related file or our own user classes related part. So in this way, path and class path related concept end to end work. Anybody has any doubt so far? I have discussed a lot of things while explaining these path and class path, and I try to cover it in very deep way so that you come to know everything around this. Anybody has any problem as of now? I'll take a 1 minute pause. Yes, no, no, yes, anything. Did you get the concept right, guys? Be vocal. I mean, then only I'll come to know. Am I audible to you guys?
Yeah,
Properly?
it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So that was the story about the path and class path, and this is again a very important topic and frequently asked interview question. If you will be able to tell this amount of way, I mean this level, then it would leave really good impression to your interviewer that you really have very in-depth knowledge of the path and class path. And this is really important concept. Like okay, I am in my when I play around other than IDE, I write some program and I want to make the dot class file, some I want to save somewhere else. How to do that, how to refer that, how many class paths, class type of classes are exist in the Java, and how they are referred in terms of class path, and everything I have discussed along with this session with you guys. Now let's move on to the other agenda item. I'm not sure we will be able to cover everything in today's class, but let's move on. Let's see how much we can cover. Okay, let's try to understand again very important concept related to the environment variable and the system and user level related variables. So if you, I'll show you one more time uh, control panel and okay, right. See, can you see two things here? One minute, let me show you. So these two things are shown here. This is our user variable. I'll show you inside as well. And the second one is system variable. You can see system along with this. So I can say you many times somebody is working in the some industry, and many times we are not able to set the class path. We do not have the privileges, enough privilege to change anything, any setting with respect to the class path. Then again, for your information, any user can change by using this user environment variable. There is no admin privilege is required to you to change it. So I'll come to that later on, but just for your information, in case if you have not tried it earlier, even if you do not have any privilege, you can change the path here. Now let's try to look into the system and user variable. So this is our environment variable. Now see two different sections here and try to understand these. First one is this. You can see user variable, and second one is this system variable. And here you can say the path exists here also and the path exists here also. So what the heck is difference between these two? Why do we need the user variable as well as system variable? So let's try to understand this concept as well. However, this is not being asked into the interview and anywhere, but one must know. This is again an important thing, good to know thing. So let's try to understand with the one diagram. So say for an example, this is my bigger box environment variable, right? And I have two small boxes also available. This is user and this is system. And let's say we have path exist both places. Path exists here as well, and the path exists here as well. This is my user variable, or this is my system variable, right? So let's say this is my system as well, and for an example I have different people available, different people are accessing this using this system. So let me draw some circle to show the different people. Okay, so let's say I have three different developers which is using this system, right? This system. So this is our system, which is normally in Unix or Linux environment, multiple people share the same system, or even your own laptop or the other things can be, we can create a different user, right? To use our systems. So the three people are using this system, and we have user variable and system variable. Now we have the Java installed, and say this, let me write a name, user one, user two, and user three. Oops, sorry. So all three users are using the same system, and they want to work on Java itself. So say for an example, if you set the path, this user one set the path for Java into the path section under user itself, then this Java path related stuff will not work for user 2 and user 3. It will only work for user 1 only. But if somebody set the path into the system variable, let's say nobody has set the path inside the user variable, and it has set by one person, user one come and set the system variable path, and here it sets the Java bin directory related path. Then this particular path, this becomes in short a global variable, and it will work for user 1 also, user 2 also, and user 3 also. See, so whenever we set anything at the system variable level, all the it will be reflected to all the users of that particular system. But whenever we set something to the user level, then that will be set to the that specific user only. So sometimes we are more interested to set something at the user level only, and the other time maybe we are more interested to set something at the system level only. But we must know this small concept, the difference between these two variables. If I'm setting something here and something here, what the difference is there? So something is set at system level will applicable for all the users who are accessing that system, while if something is set at the user level, that would be applicable to that user only, not for the that particular variable will not set for the all other users. Only that user will be able to see the changes and can do uh, can benefit out of that particular setup only. Did you get the concept of user and system variable? What is the difference between these two?
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes.
Okay. So I guess enough for the day. We run for the more than 1 hour now. If we can have one more class tomorrow for an hour, and we'll try to understand other concepts as well. And if you guys have any questions so far, anything, if you have read whatever through my course, or any doubt, any queries, you can feel free to ask me right now. Anybody has any queries?
I have one question. Like in user variable also we are mentioning the path variable, and in system
Mm-hmm.
also we are giving the path variable. When we are running the
Mm-hmm.
Java program, so which one will be referred? System or user variable path?
Okay, so whatsoever is near would be referred. I mean, the system, in case of system and user both, and if you will go, you are using the same user, then the user whatsoever you mention into the user, I mean section, that would get referred. Right, same like if you have read the Java in little bit greater extent, like you have the global instance variables, and inside the same name you give the same variable name into the method as well, and inside that you try to print that, then the method the scope limited to the local only. So here also scope would be limited to the local only, and for that user, the whatever is set into the user variable, that should get reflected, I guess so. However, I did not try that out, that I did not try it in a way that I set something else into the system variable and something different into the user variable, but my gut feeling says that the preferences would go with the user variable only, not a system variable. Okay, does it answer your question?
Yep. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Two Harshit are here, Harshit Gupta and But. Anything from your side? Anybody has any question?
No, sir, no, sir, no, sir. I've understood what you have told.
Okay, you are clear about the path, class path, and everything now, right?
Yeah, yeah, right up to clear all the things.
Okay. All right, guys. Then thanks. We can meet tomorrow if we have five or more candidates available for the class. Then we can have the class tomorrow. And one more request. I mean, the if you'll go through the my class, the course section itself, then in that way only everything has been explained, so you can refer the concept there also. It would be ease out for you and for me also. I mean, in that way we can quickly, if you guys have already covered all those concepts, then I can jump to the new concept or the advanced, like the object oriented programming and other things in Java itself. So request you to go through those session also. And if you have any questions, anybody, feel free to, I mean, hit me up on the uh, Telegram or WhatsApp, whatever channel you would like to use. So there you can, I mean, just provide your questions, right? And not restricted to the whatever taught to you. I mean, the advanced concepts as well related to the Java. If you get stuck or you have any doubt, feel free to leave your queries there. I'll try to resolve those. Okay. All right, guys. Then I think we can end the session now. Thanks for joining the class.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Kanaya.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.